Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of CroomTalk. Today I am here with the horrible man, horrible Harry, Harrison Phillips.
In the flesh, bro. Appreciate you having me on,
Yes,
man.
sir.
I've been seeing a lot of stuff of it. It's cool.
Welcome back.
Yeah, it's good to be back. It's one of the most hectic weekends I've ever been back, but it's always fun to come back.
Seems like you can't stay away, to be honest.
Well, that's part of the foundation. It's a built-in excuse to keep getting my way back here, which is awesome. And made some great friends along the way in my little 4 years or so that we were here, and I've been so excited to see how Harrison's Playmakers has continued to grow without me being here. And so, like I said, it's just a built-in excuse to have to get back every year a few times.
Why do you still keep doing it? Like, if you feel like, I mean, not saying you don't feel like you have to, but you kind of don't owe that to anybody. But I just feel like,
Yeah, I mean, you got to think. In what was it, 2019, COVID year was a little different. And even 2021, we did 13 events a year. So I was seeing my group of playmakers once a month or even a little bit more than that sometimes. And through 4 years of doing that, seeing these kids, seeing somebody once a month, I think that's more than I see my family, with the season and stuff. And so I created great relationships and friendships with these playmakers. And yeah, obviously, we want to provide an opportunity that started as charity and philanthropic, but now it's just hey, I'm planning parties with my friends and we all get together and hang out. And so I got camp tomorrow up at the stadium, and we'll have 250 playmakers, and I'm sure maybe 5 of them are new faces. The rest of them have been a part of the thing for years now. And so I'm excited to see everybody. And I follow a lot of them on social media, and I saw prom pictures and happy birthdays and all that stuff. So it's good, and I want to see, I now have a passion to grow it, just like, you and your business, wanting to see it keep going. You enjoy the taking photos or doing the pods, but you also have that desire to how big can I get this? And I think that's kind of where we're aiming with the foundation is, how big could Harrison's Playmakers really get?
Yeah. Now, tomorrow is a day that I look forward to for a very long time. I mean, I'm sure you've heard me speak
Yeah, you talk about it quite a bit.
How dope those days are for me. So that's why I my buddies volunteering, because we had talked about I just feel like you just got to experience it once. You know?
Yeah. I know the videos, you do a freaking incredible job of the videos, but those still can't even do it
Not
justice.
even close.
And that's one of the biggest selling points. So there's been times where I'm back in Omaha, or now I'm in Minnesota, or here in Buffalo when I'm doing dinners for potential sponsors and potential donors, and I can talk about it, and I'll have some of our board members kind of talk about it. And then we plug the phone into the HDMI and put it up on the screen, and then people start to kind of see it, and you get happy tears, sad tears, just an array of emotion. And then you have, once people have donated or want to be a part of it, they'll come to the camps. And then anybody who comes to a camp, you're dang near having 100% rate of them wanting to continue to sponsor.
Yeah, it's like putting live bait in water.
Yeah, it's good. It's cool, man. And it's been a blessing to find this niche, because when I started with Playmakers, it wasn't this. It was an after-school program, a 3-tiered approach working on literacy skills, character values, and physical activity in inner-city schools. And was doing this when I was in California at Stanford at the time, and I was going to these different elementary schools and middle schools and tutoring kids. And there was a mentor I had that lived in Sacramento. I'd take the train up to Sacramento, where we had this in 11 schools at one point. Brought it to Omaha. It was hard to facilitate without me being there to have staff and do all these things. And my minor and honor at Stanford was education, and that's something I was really passionate about. It was closing the achievement gap and helping some of these inner city schools. And I got to Buffalo, and I just remember there were so many guys on the team already kind of doing that. And when I went to some of the downtown Buffalo public schools, we would sit and talk. I think the rookies all had to go out on community day and go out and talk in the schools. And I was like, oh, this is my chance to meet some people, meet some kids, meet some teachers, and find out what school I want to bring this to next. And I would go, and I would be in front of the classroom, and I'm fairly articulate, and so I was speaking, telling a great story about my past and my upbringing and the things that I'm passionate about and how I want to help. And the whole time that I was talking, kids are kind of on their phones or talking to the person behind them. There was not a lot of interest. And then my teammate was in the classroom with me. It was actually Saran, Neil. And then when he talked, everyone was locked in. Everyone was like wanting to hear what he was saying. And I think, his story could maybe relate to them more than I can. They look more similar. I'm this white kid from Nebraska, farm country, go out to Stanford, and here I am in the inner cities schools of Buffalo trying to tell them, relate.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't working as well. And again, I saw a lot of the teammates that we had at the time. Taiwan was doing some great stuff. LaShawn had some stuff. Zoe, they were all doing some things in that field. So then I kind of pivoted, and I was like, what's another thing that I'm really passionate about? And that's when I started working with the population of children with developmental differences and special needs.
Yeah. And that's, like, exceeded your expectations.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think we have... It's just over 1,400 or close to 1,500 Harrison's playmakers now across the country, majority in Buffalo. But I think that Omaha, we have like our same crew. It grows by like 5% each year, just kind of small. If we do an event, we'll get people to come for sure, but it's just not catching on like fire. Minnesota has the potential to grow a lot bigger than Buffalo.
It seems like they jumped right on.
My camp, we didn't, I did this one all by myself. So here in Buffalo, you've met Debbie, you've met Scott, Lisa, Christine, some of the crew that I've found year by year that are just, local, great Buffalo people, and want to volunteer at Harrison's Playmakers. And I put them on our little mini board of volunteers that we have here. And they've helped grow this thing tremendously. Well, in Nebraska, it's just me and my parents that do it. And then in Minnesota, it was just me. And so I capped it at 200. I was like, we don't want to grow super crazy for my first camp there. And in 4 days, we had 200. And there was a wait list of hundreds. And one of the email lists, because like Special Olympics will help me out, or Best Buddies, or Down Syndrome Alliance, a bunch of these organizations, I'll be like, hey, will you forward my email out to your email list see if we can get some people. One of the emails like, yeah, we have like 7,300 emails in the Twin Cities that we could send this to. And another one's like, yeah, we have 400, and we have 1,600. I was like,
Start
okay,
sweating.
yeah. We're going to have to do like a 2-day camp or a 3-day camp or multiple events. And that's how we structure it now, is that if you are on our wait list and you don't make it to said event, you get like a 2-day heads up. You get the email sent to you first for the next event. So here in Buffalo, we have a wait list, I'm pretty sure, of like 70 kids or something. Yeah. So we'll send them the invite to my back to school shopping spree first. So we'll give them, hey, you missed out on the football camp, but you get first come serve for the next event. And we try to keep it going that way. So, everybody gets to partake.
It also seems like the Vikings help you out a lot, which is super dope to see.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal. And I don't know, I did a lot for them this year, just like coming in, hey, where do you need me? How can I help? What are these things? And they helped tremendously. They're willing to donate their time, like our community relations and community service team, T-shirts, goodie bags, inflatables, field rentals. Like the camp I did in Minnesota, which is one of the best ones I've done, we paid almost nothing for. Yeah. Like almost nothing came out of our account because the team was like, no, we want to cover this, and no, we can get this for this. And they put me in contact with the right people. Oh, hey, Buffalo Wild Wings can do the food for you for free if you do this for them. They just help facilitate that whole thing. And I didn't have that here. Yeah. But yeah, I was super impressed with how Minnesota did things. That was really cool.
Even like the social media assistance, like, that's because I'm sure that's like a big balance in the NFL where it's like, we kind of got to keep it business or whatever. But like, I feel like something like that just to be a part of is already a blessing. Yeah. And it's dope that they seen that and utilize that as well.
Yeah. They're begging to give me to take over the Instagram for the day or to do a day in the life. And they're Vikings in the community Instagram page, they're posting on daily and always updating people what's going on. And I don't know. I think it's, I wouldn't say it's unique, but I think that it's important that they show players for that limelight because, and it's not just me. They do it with all their players that are doing things, but it takes one player to get a DUI or one player to get in a domestic dispute or whatever it is that just writes the whole perception of what NFL football players are. Some of these other accounts that are showing all the great work that guys are doing. I just saw Tremaine had his camp yesterday. I think some of the guys went to, and more of that stuff should be highlighted because I've been in a couple locker rooms now, met a ton of NFL players, and 99.999% of them are good, hardworking, passionate, humble dudes.
That's why we got to change the divide to humanize athletes.
Yeah, look, every profession is going to have somebody fool around, make a mistake. But I think we've gotten better with that. You know, I think when I first was getting to the league, or even like earlier 2000s, 2010, I think there was a lot more negative perception around players, and I think the league's done a better job to show who we truly are and what we really represent.
Yeah,
I think.
So going back to your early football career, when was football a thing for you?
I didn't start playing until I think 5th or 6th grade. That was because my parents. I wanted to play the whole time. Every action figure I had, we played football when we were, having them fight each other. But I was a wrestler for a really long time, and
He must have heard you.
was that? Oh yeah, Saran hitting you up. Maybe get him on the pod.
He was supposed to.
Yeah. But no, yeah. All my earliest memories were me wanting to play football or out in the yard throwing the football back and forth to myself, and it wasn't until my parents allowed me to go play, and the second I kind of stepped on the field, I was like bigger and better than most of my teammates. And as I got older, wrestling still was always like my biggest passion. I really loved it because, like, man, you get really celebrated in wrestling. You win, like that's because of you. You're kind of like the starting quarterback every single match. And but then once I accomplished a lot of things in wrestling and I had a really decorated career, I realized that there was something missing, and that was the team aspect. Like, celebrated success is one of the best feelings in the world. Like, yeah, pat yourself on the back for your individual accomplishments, but my favorite memories in football are not plays that I made, it's plays that teammates have made, and that's probably the thing I love the most about the game.
So going from high school to college, how many offers did you have?
I think I had 23 wrestling scholarships and about 54 wrestling scholarships, 23 football scholarships.
Jesus.
But the wrestling scholarships were smaller schools, and they don't give full rides. I think I had one full ride offer for wrestling. It's all like, oh, we'll cover tuition, or we'll do room and board, or we'll do books and this, and they were all partials. And then, football, those were all full rides. And, I had like the 8 Ivy League schools, so that was like half of them right there. And then I had some of the Dakotas and stuff. But Stanford was the one I was circling for a long time. Stanford and Nebraska were the big two that I was hunting for. And when Nebraska was so slow to pull the trigger, it kind of got me looking over at Stanford. Then I went out there, fell in love. If Nebraska had offered me early, I would have never even gone out to check out Stanford. I just would have been a homegrown kid staying at home. But, Nebraska was my, 25th offer or 23rd offer of all of them or whatever it was. So
was like the like offer, like what was the balance between whether you did wrestling or football?
I think so. I mean, it was pretty clear to me that I needed to get my college paid for, just with my family situation at the time. We didn't really have a silver spoon. Dad lost his job a few times, and we were on tough times at that point. So I kind of thought if I didn't get a scholarship, I thought maybe I'd go to like enlist in the Army or something to get school paid for. But yeah, then the thoughts were, where could I do both? And a lot of schools were saying, like, you could do both, but then I'd ask some of the current players, and they're like, it's probably just to get you here. They'll make you choose. And I had full plans to wrestle at Stanford until I had my injury. Yeah. So it was – I think by that point I was all in on football. Like, I just loved that team aspect and wanted to see how far I could take it. Football was – I was – in wrestling, like, from day one, I was really, really good. Like state champ, national champ, like I wasn't losing. In football, it wasn't as clear as that. It was like, oh, he's the best guy on the team, but maybe there's somebody better on the other team. Or, I could lose, I could get reached, I could get pancaked, I could get blocked. And I think that challenge was what intrigued me, is like at a certain point, wrestling was just too easy. Yeah. And I wanted to, like, I just loved the chip on the shoulder. Like, I'm the underdog. I'm this 240-pound white defensive end from Nebraska who wants to try to go do huge things. Like, there's, I could be counted out still, and I like that underdog mentality.
Yeah. So your injury, that was ACL, right?
Yeah, my second year of college.
That was okay. It was second year. And what was that experience like?
That one was really tough. Freshman year, I played as a true freshman. There was only, I think, 4 of us in my class that did. And, it was sparingly played, 15 plays a game, maybe 20 plays a game, but had a lot of fun playing at 18 years old in bowl games and against grown men. It helped me grow a lot. I'm thankful for that experience before my second year. Came in my second year, we had a really great rotation. Solomon Thomas was same class as I. Obviously, they lifted his red shirt. He was again second year. We had these, 4 or 5-star seniors, and just had a great rotation of all training camp of who's going to be the guys. And sure enough, the day of the home opener against Northwestern, I was told I was the starter. It was a competition until then, and went out there and end of the first quarter, blew my knee. It was tough. I was changing direction and turning over my shoulder, and as I went to turn and run the other way, a lineman came and chipped me, and so leg was planted in the ground this way, and he hit me that way, and it just boom, and it hurt really bad. I ran off the field on my own, and I was trying to talk to the doctors and trainers, and they were like, "We think you strained your calf, really high calf muscle." And so they put me back out there. Oh, that was not good. I went and planted on it one time, screamed, went to the ground, get up and run off the field. And I could talk an hour and a half just about the experience of the next day. It was a miserable experience, and trainers didn't really know that I was actually hurt. They thought it was a calf strain still, and so I'm getting yelled at for why you sitting out, and why you they were telling me I have to ride my bike to the doctor office in the morning when I can't even, my knee's this big, I can't even walk. And then we were sitting in there with the doctor, and the trainer was like, "No, I think he just strained his calf. He's good." And the doctor's like, "Well, let me check his knee." And he goes to do that ACL test, and I just go, most pain I've ever felt in my life. I go into extreme shock. I instantly throw up. I start sweating, crying. It was really bad. And then, had the surgery. My mom came out and stayed with me for about a week or 10 days, which was really, really nice. But then once she left, I was kind of by myself, and the dorm that I was supposed to live in was on the 3rd floor with no elevator. So they moved me to the 1st floor, but that means I was in a 1-room single. So I had no roommates, no teammates. And then that was, of my 4 years at Stanford, that was the best team we had. They won every single game the rest of the year, finished number 3 in the country. That was Christian McCaffrey's Rose Bowl win, crazy game, and Pac-12 champions. And so I had a lot of internal battles of not being a part of the team, not contributing, and them having great success, as well as going through a significant injury. Am I ever going to be the same player again? Am I ever going to overcome this? I had, it took me a full 10 months till I fully came back from it. And I grew a ton in my faith in that time of my life. I had to lean on something. When everything else is taken away, there's one thing that remains, and that was Jesus for me. So that was a tough thing. And then 4 years later to do it again, just PTSD. All of those same feelings came back. Much better environment. Joe Mika and Will Greenberg, two people on the Bills staff, the two.
Yeah, they knew it wasn't a calf sprain, huh?
Yeah, they knew ASAP. But those two men, I don't know if I've ever had more appreciation for any two men in my life. And cliche to say they saved my life, but they saved my career, which is such a big part of my life. Yeah. And I was in bad places, and those two, even that was year 2 in the league as well. So here I am, just a rotational D tackle, nothing crazy. And they invested in me like I was their own child, like it was life or death that I come back and have a healthy career. And those are my 2 best friends in Buffalo. They're amazing.
Yeah. So the second time around, because you probably know as soon as that happens.
Oh yeah.
So in your head, do you ever just I'm done?
Yeah, there were some thoughts like that. When it happened in Buffalo, it was versus the Bengals, and I got through the line of scrimmage, about to make a tackle, and one of our safeties was thrown by a tight end because he was trying to make a play. My leg was just perfectly extended, and a player just full force dives into the knee. The doctor was like, it would have torn an elephant's knee. You know what I'm saying? It was a big collision, and I felt it pop right away. I ran off the field, and then I was just trying to convince myself that this isn't it. It's not it. You're fine. So I had the trainers tape up my knee. I was like, no, I think I'm good. And they put me back out there in 2 minutes to go win the game in the first play.
I remember
fell to the ground. I was like, yeah, this
because
thing's
after
gone.
you sat down and your legs were straight, right?
Yeah.
I remember that
Yeah.
specifically because I was at the game and I seen it happen, and in my head, that's where my head was at already.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I seen you go back, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
And then when I seen you get hurt, it's like you watch a game and you see a guy lay down and you could tell how he's laying down. What happened?
Yeah. Like watch him the next couple plays.
You're just like,
so yeah, they put me out, and again, that was a cool situation. We drafted Ed Oliver, we got Starr, we got Vernon Butler, we got Quentin Jeff. I think this is that year. Maybe I know we had Ed and Starr, Jordan Phillips, I think.
yeah.
And again, I don't think I started the year as the starter, but it was week 2. We played the Giants, or week 3 we played the Giants, and I was like the guy. Like I played the most on the D line, and I got the game ball. I got my like first career sack against Eli Manning, and like bunch of tackles, couple PBUs, and then the next game I was like the starter, and then they put me in, and this was like week 4 of my second year, and so my up until that point the trajectory is like, oh, who's he going to be, and then it caught fire, and I was like, wow, I'm feeling great, I'm rushing great, I'm playing well, I'm in great shape. Understand the playbook, and I thought that I was going to have like a killer second year. That's so big. Players like make that big jump between year 1 and year 2, and so had like great game. I remember like telling Shay, my girlfriend at the time, I was like, if I play like this, like I'm a dude.
Yeah.
And then next game again, we're going out there for 2 minutes to go win a football game, and they choose me to go out there after I had hurt my knee, and then obviously just one play I stepped on it and it fell right to the ground. I knew it was over, and yeah, so MRI, got it back, and then I just almost went into that same panic because I just was overwhelmed with the emotions of how poorly my first one was done, the whole rehab, the whole process, that I tricked myself into thinking that this one was going to be like that one, and it was so worry. And then again, like Joe Mika, Will Greenberg, and then we had an intern at the time, Mackenzie, and she was like in charge of me for the whole rehab, and so she had to put up with me through the thing, but it was just nice to see a smiling face that was always there, like full of encouragement, and no matter how shitty I was feeling, like she was always going to be there to like get me motivated to kick ass for that day.
She went to a different team, right?
She's with the Seahawks as a full time, and there's not a lot of full time staff women athletic trainers in the league. So she was like, I don't know, number 4 or number 3 ever in NFL history. But I got to see her a few weekends ago at Joe Mika's wedding, the guy who's still with the Bills, and I let Mackenzie know too. Like I'm where I am right now and who I am right now because of you and what you poured into me. And our athletic trainers now. I'm with the DeMar Hamlin situation. They finally got some recognition here in Buffalo, but all across all leagues, all sports, athletic trainers are like the glue that allow us to do what we do. I have a lot of appreciation and respect for them.
Yeah. Did you watch that game live?
No, I didn't. I was at a Timberwolves basketball game, and I was kind of just following on the Twitter feed, and then 5 minutes go by, and I check back on have it of Bills Bengals or something, and everything was just DeMar, and so then I searched his name, and I saw him collapse. I was like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
So like 5, 6, 7 minutes go by. I'm with a teammate and his wife, and me and Shay, and the game's like fourth quarter, crazy.
Yeah.
Like I'm not paying attention at all. I was like, we gotta go. Like they just keep refreshing to hear that he's still down. He's still down. He's still
down.
And
the media, like, I'm not saying they made it worse, but like they like kind of were like pushing conclusions very fast.
Oh yeah,
because there's so much speculation.
Yeah,
because like, well, how long was he out? 9 minutes? Was that what it was?
Yeah, that's what they say.
So it's like, like medically, like what that does for your brain. Everybody's everybody's saying that and stuff, and you're just like, you can't just say that.
And even though if he was out 9 minutes on social media, that wasn't made clear till about 20 minutes. They were still like, no breath. There's nothing. So yeah, I thought a teammate of mine just passed away. So we left, and I had Shay drive home so that I could like keep checking stuff up. And when I saw the still images and some of the guys' faces, that's when I was like, oh, I think that's when we left.
Yeah.
And I texted a ton of guys, and I got some responses from guys once I got back into the locker room. And I'll keep those conversations private, but it was my heart really went out to hear some of the ways that guys were texting me back, just like, It's tough.
Yeah.
Tough.
Yeah, because I, I watched it live. I was actually here, and I was with a couple people. And as soon as it happened, like just watching it live, you thought like, like typical head-on collision, like got up and realized, he hit his head.
Yeah,
and just
stinger.
I thought concussion. But then the way I seen Dane Jackson respond, I knew it was something different because like D-Jack just ran, and usually you don't do that. Usually it's just like one of these, but like it was like people started freaking out because even when you watch it, you're just like it just happens. And like, I'm sitting here, I'm crying because like you don't know what's going on, but the longer you're watching nothing happen, it's just like freaking you out. And then like the perspective too is like those are all my friends out there, and just seeing them get emotional, you're just like damn, dude. Yeah. But like it's a miracle that he pulled through.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane, man. He's the NFL's comeback player of forever.
Yeah.
For forever. Look, God is good. God is good all the time. I mean, thankful for the outcome, but and I'm so happy that I don't know how to word it, but man, DeMar is the perfect person to use the platform that he's now has.
Yeah.
And his heart is contagious. His passion is always there. Life was always glass half full with him in my experience when we were teammates. And I just think that the platform that he now has is going to change the lives of millions, honest to God, over time.
Yeah.
It's great. I'm really excited for what's to come.
Especially the impact he's had on the game of football now, and then also real life. Like the importance of CPR training and stuff like that. Like that's going to change the world.
Yeah.
Because think about how many people like now are educated in that situation to potentially save somebody's life.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think I've been really impressed with Denny, watching some of the social media clips and stuff from him, because sometimes there's egos in the athletic training world, just like any profession. And like, oh, hey, I'm head athletic trainer. I'm responsible for the success of this. Or, there can be egos and stuff. And Denny, every time you hear him speak, all he's talking about is we and us and team. And like, Denny was more responsible for this happening, going into action, and the whole time he never is, I saved a life, I did. It's always about like we trained, we had this as fact, our team. And that's been probably the coolest thing for me, because some other people, like, you tell me if I saved someone's life with my bare hands, like I would potentially have some ego involved of like, I saved someone's life, like, are you kidding me? And I think to see how humble he's been through the process is incredible.
Yeah, shout out to him. Shout out to the whole, training staff for not even just that situation, just for just being there for the guys. And I agree with you. I don't feel like they get enough respect either.
Oh, yeah. Nobody, I mean.
Everybody just cares about the football player. That's the problem.
Look, Joe Mika has this piece of tape that he puts in the locker room all the way down. You have to come and put your number on it so you know what order he's going to see you. We got, 46 guys dressed on a game day? Joe Mika sees 30 players a game. They have to see him before they go play in the game. Like, and if they're not on that list, or if they don't get to see him, like, I wouldn't feel comfortable playing in the game if I don't have Joe work on me, tape me the way he tapes me, all that stuff. Like, probably the most undervalued person in the NFL. Yeah. It's crazy.
Give that man a raise.
Give that. He should take percentage of the contracts, dude.
Yeah.
Well, you got to think about this. Here's one thing that is I always wanted to advocate for him more, and you should. They need to get raises. They should be the most paid staff members. Is like, let's just, for what do we play, 17 games a year? Let's just say that a player makes $17 million a year. So he makes $1 million a week. If he sprains his ankle and is out 4 weeks, the team is losing $4 million worth of the product that they support. If a better athletic trainer can get that player to come back in 3 weeks, that's $1 million difference he's making for the team. So, like, give him that money, or like a percentage of, and so, make the numbers as big or as small as you want. Guys are making a few $1 million a year, and because of the treatment that Joe Mika's giving him, or strength staff that Will's helping him out with, like, if they're able to come back games earlier or be healthy and play at that high level, that's hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars that they're saving the team for paying for a product that's not available on the field. And so, like, that's always been my argument, is like, I'm thinking of a player that I played with in Buffalo, and the doctors told him his injury was 10 weeks. He came back in 6. He was a high paid player. The team got $2-3 million of production from him that would have been on the sideline if it wasn't for these two guys that rehabbed him. Yeah. And they don't obviously even see anything close to something like that, and they should.
It's good perspective. It makes a lot of sense too, because
you know
it's
what
like,
I mean? Yeah,
it's like pay the guys who are gonna like help you guys be better.
Yeah, they are very, very, very undervalued.
So how's Minnesota treating you?
Dude, Minnesota's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a believer. I don't ever have buyer's remorse in my life oftentimes. Like when I go somewhere, the grass is green where I'm at, and I don't really look on the other side of that fence to even think about if the grass is greener. But I'm all in on Minnesota, and let me tell you this. Buffalo is special around what they offer outside of the building. Like this community is unique. I'll give them that, and I'm fine saying that. But Minnesota, I've only been there a year, so I haven't given it a fair enough assessment of like how cool can this be, man. We got super cool lakes, golf courses are insane. There's always stuff to do, and but for me, my life inside the building in Minnesota is extremely healthier than what my life was like in the Buffalo facility. I don't know if it's how well I get along with some of the coaches I have in Minnesota, but I think it's just a top-down approach of, when you sign a player in free agency or draft a player in a certain round and how it goes, you just automatically have an organizational understanding of like, this is one of our guys. This is a big pillar of our team. And when you get valued that much from an organization, it's incredible. There's just so many positive byproducts of that happening. And since the first day I stepped into Minnesota, even before signing my contract, just how they were treating me, I felt like I was a quarterback. Like it was crazy.
Yeah.
And then I get along with my coaches so well and built up some incredible trust with them. And, anyone who has a job, like working for a boss that you love and loves you versus working maybe for a boss that it doesn't, like that makes night and day difference. And so just all I would say is in Minnesota, I have a great boss. Like my position coach, who I spend most of my time with, is just incredible.
Yeah. Feels good to be appreciated, don't it?
Yeah, it does, man. It's especially when it comes, from a lot of hard work. And it's sometimes with draft picks, people would be like, well, rookie, yeah, your first round pick, but like rookie, you haven't done anything in the league. You got to earn it. But once as you get older in the NFL and you experience some more stuff in like free agency or whatever, there's a lot of notches on the belt that got you in that position. And so it's really nice, man. I'm enjoying it.
I'm happy for you.
We bought a house up in Minnesota too.
There you go.
First time I'm ever owned a home, and we just rented over here in Hamburg for all those years because of the instability. As every year it was like, am I going to make the team? Am I going to make the team? Am I going to make the team? Well, here there was obviously some more job security. So we bought a nice little house, a single family home, and we got a nice backyard for Marty, our dog. That's freaking our everything. And it's nice. Now we are a little bit more spread out. That's one downside to the Twin Cities is we're really far away. So one of my good friends, Eric Kendricks, he lives 40 minutes away. So like if I just want to go over to play some games or have a wine night or something, like that's a big commitment there and back 40 minutes. And Jordan Hicks, same thing. He lives 30 minutes this way. If we want to do a D-line dinner, it's like, well, where do we all meet that it's not too far for everybody? Where here it was like, furthest place the guy drives 10 minutes. Yeah, maybe 12 or something. But yeah, man, I'm excited to see. This first year was nuts. Like, it's hard for me to think back in Buffalo. Like, when did we first meet? Probably training camp. Training camp of rookie year.
I don't know, because I feel like we met. No, it had to be. I feel like the first time we met was your autograph signing.
Oh, yeah, that was.
And I don't even think it was before the season started.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
The season already started?
No, it was before the season.
Yeah, because I remember you talk about Kyle Williams giving you shit for it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you haven't even been in the city for this long, and you're already doing this.
100%. Yeah, you're right. But long story short was to say that, like, I can't remember after 1 year in Buffalo, what were my connections like? Like who did I've got, I'm going over to David Curran, who owns Orange Theory Southtowns. Like I met through Jim Kelly, and I got with Jim through, all right, I got this golf crew that I see at Orchard Park Country Club with Jim Ball and Jim Bamel. And it's just, the DePaulos, Ilio and Dennis DePaulo. So after that first year, I don't think I had all these different pools of people. It was just like year after year, you meet more and more. And so I need to give Minnesota a more fair assessment of like, okay, this first year it was brand new. We bought a house for the first time. It was so hectic. We're planning a wedding, planning my camps. And so this next year, I think it'll be after the wedding. It'll be not so new. I can probably try to develop more of those out of the building relationships and learn the community that they have to offer.
Do you feel like you have a lot more stability now?
Yeah, definitely in these first couple years. Now the contract's structured for that. Then I kind of have to earn year 3 of it. Yeah. But money is fully guaranteed for the first 2 years. Yeah. So it's a different. And what's so weird is you get nervous when you pay players. Now I'm not like in NFL talk of money. I'm not like a high paid guy compared to the NFL. And you see like, oh, we're nervous about getting this guy this big contract because is he going to work the same? Is he going to train the same? This, that, and the third. But for me, it was, even though like my money's fully guaranteed, right? It makes me hungrier. I want to work harder. Yeah. Like there's more to prove. It's not like, can I make the roster? It's I have to be on my P's and Q's to win football games for this team because they're relying on me and the leadership side of stuff. And so for me, I think that, getting that more job security, getting that being more valued has actually caused me to work even harder, which I didn't think was possible. Yeah. And it's kind of had the opposite effect as what some would think giving someone money would do.
Mentally, that helps you though?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and through the free agency process, there was kind of a number that I felt like, hey, if it gets to this number, I'm not considering the number after that. Like, and there was like 5 teams that were all above. I think I was like, if 3 for 15, I want, if I can get 3 for 15, then it's just like, let's find the best situation for it. And there was like 4 or 5 teams that were above that. And so then I just found the best fit, and it happened to be Minnesota, who wasn't the biggest contract I had, but it was the best opportunity for me.
Was there somebody in their like coaching staff that you knew, right?
No. There wasn't anyone that I had a great relationship with. It was just on the day that you're allowed to talk to the teams or whatever, hearing the general manager talk and hearing the head football coach talk. And I leaned in on my agency quite a bit, and I respect that. So some agents will just try to force you to the biggest deal so they can get the biggest percentage. And my agency knows that I was smart enough to see through something like that. They wouldn't try that with me. And I just kept hearing like, no, like this is going to be good. This is new. This is like, we love Coach O'Connell. We saw what he did with the Rams. Like, look at the roster. I was looking at the roster, seeing we had some really good football players in Minnesota that this wasn't going to be a rebuild. Yeah. And then looked at the defense, looked at the defensive line. And one the almost the final deciding factor was Michael Pierce was on the team. Very great football player that I've respected, looked up to for a long time, and they were making it seem like they were going to move on from him. And I was like, well, I've kind of been screwed before in my past of people saying one thing and doing another. If you guys actually do decide to move on from him, then I would probably take the deal. And, within an hour, they're like, go ahead and check social media.
We want this guy.
Yeah, we saw that, he was released. And now he got picked up right away. I think he's making a ton of money anyway. He's a really good football player. But, again, for the scheme that they're bringing in, so once I saw them, like, actually back that up, and I was like, oh, so when you sign me, like, that's my spot. Like, yeah, it's you. Yeah. So it was really cool.
So what was free agency like?
Craziest day of my life. Yeah. Absolutely. Craziest day of my life. And super emotional because just for, like I told you, I don't look on the other side of the fence. The grass is green where I'm at. I'm all in. So for 4 full years, over 1,200 days, 1,300 days of my life, I was a Buffalo Bill to the day I died. Like that was just what I believed in. Just like today, I'll be a Minnesota Viking until I retire. Like that's just the thought process you have. Be where your feet are. And it wasn't until, and you could probably ask any of the guys on the team, before free agency started and during the season, like, who do you think would come back? Oh, it's going to be Harrison. Like, he's a Bill through and through. And then free agency came, and it became clear that I probably wasn't going to come back. And it was just you have to be a man in that decision and just like, okay, get over the emotional side of it and like, where are we going to go? What team do we get to go impact, and where can we find what's best for me? And Minnesota just kept showing up time and time and time again. And then you get there, and it's still kind of an unknown, like just like dating. Someone can kind of put on a front for a little bit and play the part. But, a year later, I couldn't be happier with my decision. And, I think I said this before to you, or I'm kind of happy that that Buffalo wasn't as competitive in their offers because it made the decision much easier.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was so different that if they were close, would I have gone below what I told you I wanted to have made to stay and whatever? Because there was such a big enough difference, it actually made the decision so much easier. I was like, okay, obviously that's not true. And
Yeah.
they had signed, I think, 2 defensive tackles already. You know, they picked up Daquan, and they were doing a deal with the guy Settle.
Tim Settle.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, so obviously I'm probably not coming back to Buffalo. Let's look at all these amazing options.
Yeah.
And then Minnesota just kept coming through. It was cool.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, for sure.
And I feel like the struggles and the trials and tribulations make you who you are.
Yeah, man. It's a long journey.
Yeah. And it's still going.
It is.
Which is the best part about it.
Yeah. And I'm just in a new chapter. You know?
So tomorrow's your camp in the Bill Stadium.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. Do you ever just accidentally try to walk in the locker room oh shit, I don't got the keys anymore?
Yeah, last year it was cool, because I wasn't a part of the team or whatever. I was like a Viking for 4 months or so, and then I had my camp, and security just let me right in, and I pulled back in the area, and the security, oh, Harrison, what's up, man? It's so cool you're back. We're bummed you can't be here. And just got in right away. Yeah. We'll see if this year I'm actually going to stop over to the stadium today. So from here I'm going over to Oshai. I got to drop off some toys and donations I've been collecting. Then I'm going to go to the stadium because the Special Olympics is doing a flag football tournament there today.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stop by, talk to
jamming. I just seen something on Instagram. There's a lot of people in there.
Yeah, so I'm going to pop over there. And so in that situation, are they going to make me go through like a normal person through security in that area, or are they just be like, yeah, just pull around to the tunnel and go?
Yeah.
We'll find out. And then camp's going to be tomorrow. So it's cool. I don't know if I'll be able to do my camp there for much longer in the stadium itself. Since I've left where I used to be able to, tweet some things or do whatever to get into the stadium without a big financial contribution. Each year they've now upped what I have to give in order to be in there. So we'll see, but I can't pay $30,000 or something that could be going back to the kids and different events and stuff to have it there. So, West Her's got that stadium, and there's other options, and I'd love to continue to stay there because, man, is it cool. This is on Father's Day now, so we've kind of hyped it up as like bring your dad to the facility. We'll have a little photo booth on the stadium, on the field and stuff, because it definitely is cool for those kids to be on the same field that their idols get to play on.
The weather's going to be beautiful, too.
I know, I'm excited.
It rained a little bit last year.
We've had rain days and we've had hot days.
Yeah.
And so the weather looks pretty solid.
The weather in Buffalo has been very wild this past 3-4 weeks.
I was lucky because I was back for bocce last weekend, and it was supposed to rain all day. Didn't rain once. Now the next day rained out Ilio's golf tournament, which I was bummed about. I wasn't here, but yeah, it was lucky that it didn't rain on us the day that we had bocce.
I want to meet him.
Dennis or Ilio?
I feel like I have. It just probably was so brief because I'm sure they've been to your events.
Yeah,
right?
you've had to meet him or see him.
No, it'd be cool to get them to be a part of my golf tournament too.
Yeah. I went into the restaurant last night. Had dinner with them both. Oh, I'm gonna come in heavy on Monday. I know that.
What's the go-to there?
The Destroyer steak is a 20-ounce steak, and then I get a veal parmesan on top of it. So 2 full orders, stack them. Stuffed peppers for appetizers, Italian wedding soup, Caesar salad, cannoli. I mean, everything's good there. Yeah. Yeah.
You should get your own little item on the menu.
I came to Buffalo with I wasn't Italian, and I'm
now you are
16% Italian by how much food I've ate here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of just into the fam. I talk with my hands a little bit more, Yeah. It's good.
What else are your go-tos here?
Well, I hit up Rachel's quite a bit when I'm back. Barbell's still my wing spot. Ilio's is my dinner spot. I like Pharaoh's Pizza in West Seneca, right?
Yeah. Josh's favorite spot too.
Yeah, it's a good spot. What are you at?
I mean, it's not bad, but it's not top 10 in any way, shape, or form.
Top 10. Wow.
I'm a big Picasso's guy.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, that's good food.
Yeah.
That's good food.
You just getting a cheese pepperoni, or are you getting a loaded one?
I like that fettuccine chicken one that they have. The buffalo chicken one's pretty solid, but I'm a cheese pizza guy most of the time.
Just cheese?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep basic. My girl likes cheese. I can eat it too. So
there you go.
But yeah, there's not enough time for the food stuff. You know, I was invited to go to Lucia's. I obviously my schedule is so packed. I also like Orchard Park Country Club has a great menu.
Yeah.
I've eaten over there. Manja's is so good. Yeah, if I'm in town for a night, I'll have dinner at Ilio's. Just have to.
You just come here and everybody just wants you to eat.
Yeah,
that's
pretty much what it
is. You have like a food place for every hour you're here. You're like, listen, I can't make this all
Yeah. I know. I wonder if, now that you're speaking that into existence, I wonder if people are trying to fatten me up, like make me worse at football.
Like a little self-sabotage.
Like you left, here, eat this, eat this.
Oh, hey, nice to see you. Here's lasagna.
Maybe.
Joke's on you.
Yeah.
That's funny. So now we're going to get into a segment where fans ask questions. They've reached out on social media with questions, and this is brought to you by Picasso's Pizza.
So you never asked my second favorite pizza spot. Probably would be that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I throw some daps. But yeah, what do we got?
We're going to go to Picasso's after this now.
I'm down.
All right, so first question is from Hunter via Snapchat.
Whoa.
Yeah, we got crazy. We had to reach out to every avenue.
Oh, my gosh.
So he wants to know the similarities and differences between Buffalo and Minneapolis as cities.
As cities, not building. All right. In cities, I would say genuinely solid people, like salt of the earth, good people in both these places. I know it doesn't really make sense for Buffalo, but it feels Midwesty, and then Minneapolis, Minnesota is actually kind of Midwesty. So I would say you got some just good folks all together, and in the part of Minneapolis, I'm not in the city. I'm in like the South Towns, right, of Minneapolis, and so in our little community where most of the players are spread out amongst, it's still a simple life. Like the city's the city, but just like out here, guys are mowing their lawns or want to go fishing and want just kind of more relaxed feel, suburb, almost rural feel. And so I'd say those are some of the similarities. Some of the differences are Minnesota's got a lot more going on. So my fiance and I could probably go to dinner, go to a movie, and go to the grocery store, and I might only get recognized by one or two, people I'm out, take one picture or something like that. Here in Minnesota, I was back for a wedding in Rochester, and in the airport, before I even got out of Rochester, I'd taken like 3 pictures. I'm sitting there waiting for a Uber, and this old man in a convertible is like, "Horrible Harry, welcome back." Yeah. And obviously Buffalo's just the same way. So that's kind of a difference. And then I would say that there's more mom and pop food places here than Minnesota. Like there's tons of places to eat in Minnesota, tons. But these ones I don't know if they have the history up there that is here. So.
Yeah. Question number 2, you're going to like this one. This is from Lee Banky on Facebook.
Lee.
Post-football career, will you try your luck in an octagon? If so, would you adopt a cage name Hot Dog Harrison Phillips?
Hot Dog Arm Harrison Phillips? No, that probably wouldn't be the go-to name unless Franks was paying me a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
For a long time I did think about it. I also thought about like when my football career was over, would I give like actual folk style wrestling another shot? Would I like try to go up to Colorado Springs and train at the training center and do the Olympic route or something? Those are probably somewhat ignorant statements, but I mean, I'll be the first to admit I'm not the best football player, but I'm telling you, I'm a good wrestler. Like I'm a good wrestler. I did Muay Thai a few of my off seasons. I got a buddy who's pretty big in jiu-jitsu now. A couple off seasons I did some boxing with Bud Crawford, which he's about to beat Earl Spence. So that was all young me. 5-6 surgeries later, I don't know if I can. I'd love to. I'd love to try. Maybe when I lose all this weight, I'll feel a little bit better afterwards. But I don't really want no smoke with John Jones right now.
Yeah. Just take like a crazy shot on the podcast.
Yeah.
Just like call somebody out. Yeah.
No. Well, hey, when I first got to Minnesota, Gable Stevenson, right, national champion, Olympic champion wrestler. I was like, I would love to get on a mat with you, but it's just the risk versus reward right now. It's like I'm not gonna. Yeah, same with like my buddy who's in jiu-jitsu. He wants me to come to open mat, and that's great. I would love to but I'm not gonna let someone beat me. So obviously I'm gonna go really fucking hard, and let's say I get in a position that I'm uncomfortable in, because in wrestling, right, you never want to give up you never want to be on your back, so you always belly down. Well, in UFC, you can't belly down, you're giving up your back. And so let's say I got into a position that I'm uncomfortable with and fight pressure with pressure, and you slip an elbow out, or you do, it's just not worth it right now. And so we'll see how the rest of the career works out. I wouldn't say no to you, Lee. Probably say no to the hot dog arm Harry name, but we'll see how the whole thing shakes out. I got some meaty paws on me. I think I could strike one or two.
Yeah. Next question is from Cody Allen.
Okay.
Why did you leave us? Question mark, exclamation point, question mark, exclamation point, sad face. Nah, I'm just playing. We love that, man. Aside from the Bills Mafia, what do you miss about being a Buffalo Bill? Many of us are still rooting for you on a week in and week out basis.
Okay. Good question. Appreciate the support, and it is cool. Like, let's say I post something about my foundation on social media. A lot of the comments are still from people that are in Bills Mafia, which is really unique. But so the question was, besides Bills Mafia, what are some things I miss from being a Bill? I think the locker room and the relationships. So, anywhere you go for 4 years, you're going to develop really great relationships with people, and when you're fully invested in it. So I have just great friends that I've made along the way, players, community, staff, and having to get up and leave them. It's just like moving cities. For anybody moving cities, you're gonna miss your old friends, your neighbors, your stuff like that. And I think if you ask me in a couple years, hey, what's the thing you miss the most about your time in Minnesota? It'll be the exact same thing. It's like developing fantastic relationships with really cool teammates, really cool staff, really cool people in the community. And look, wins come a dime a dozens, but like relationships, that's the stuff that really matter in life. And I think the more material things that I see people gain, and cars and houses and cool stuff, it's like relationships that are some things that you would really more value than material things. So definitely miss some of the boys and some of just the locker room and stuff like that. And I'm happy that we have such a tight, close locker room in Minnesota, because it made that transition so much easier. Versus, I have friends that have played in other teams, and they're like, oh man, this Minnesota locker room, dude, it's not like this at X place, or it's not like this at X place. And I'm lucky for that. I don't know if you saw too, like Minnesota came in at number 1 in the free agency survey. Like the NFLPA thing that 2,000 players voted on or whatever, said that Minnesota was the number 1 place to go. So I lucked out.
Yeah.
Lucked out.
Like a gift in disguise.
Yeah.
So another question comes from Feder1983 on Twitter. Which Buffalo food do you miss the most?
I guess we kind of answered that a little bit, but I think just going to Ilios is the thing that I miss the most. Still miss Rachel's quite a bit, because that's a little healthier option. But there's very rare places that I've ever gone and had a meal and didn't enjoy it here. Yeah.
What's your go-to at Rachel's?
So I get two before.
Oh,
I get two. I was gonna say I got it all planned out. I get 2 different Greek pitas, one with chicken shawarma, one with steak, both with Rachel's rice, tzatziki on one, dill on the other, feta cheese, hot sauce on both, little lettuce. I got it dialed.
See, when I go, I'll do rice, an obnoxious amount of chicken, and then an even more obnoxious amount of dill.
Yeah, the dill sauce is
I
fire.
feel like if the dill's not on absolutely everything, I want nothing.
You can get a side cup of dill too to dip. That's what I would do that if we were like bringing it back home. So
I have more dill with
soggy.
my food than I do food.
that's heavy.
It's like a 51-49.
Yeah, I get it.
Next question comes from Cameron Rains on Twitter. Was it tough leaving Buffalo after building so much of a life here for 3 to 4 years?
Yeah, but I think having my foundation, again, one of the big things was my nerve about what is the foundation going to grow to, and to see that it's still taking off, still having the success, still having supporters, donors and sponsors and volunteers. That's been really cool. The UB Bulls, their whole football team is coming to my camp tomorrow. They're the volunteers. We got 90 guys and college football players coming. Yeah. And so to see stuff like that keep showing up, and then just knowing that as my foundation grows, I'll be able to get back here and be a part of it. And look, like, obviously I love the Vikings and I love Minnesota, but I can still love Buffalo, right? It doesn't have to be affiliated. I hate when people always just assume that, like, the reason I like Buffalo is because of the Bills, and it's not. It's because of, like, the people outside of that, too. Like, it's a unique community, yeah, so my foundation will keep getting me back to Buffalo, and then obviously Minnesota's freaking awesome.
Yeah. Where can people find all your foundation work?
Harrison'sPlaymakers.org, and that has all the 3 different cities. You can donate to each different city. You can see pictures and videos from the last different cities. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff on there.
They can sign up there as well?
Yeah, you can join to be a member. And so I think we have currently most of our members are Buffalo members. But yeah, if you know anyone or have someone who's got developmental differences and special needs and they'd want to participate, they can sign up on there. So they'll be in our email crew, because I don't like put stuff out on social media. It's like, hey, sign up here.
Yeah.
Just because when I had done that before, we got a lot of people that didn't fit the characteristics of what our playmakers are. They just like, oh, we want to go to this cool football camp, buy a pro football player. And so it's all kind of invite only. But if you sign up on there, you can be a part of it.
So what's next for Harrison Phillips?
Today, or just in life, or what?
Well, we can start today, and then life.
So let's see. Finishing this pod, I'm going straight to Oshai Children's Hospital. I got 2 cars full of donations I'm dropping off there. And then from there, I'm going to the Bills Stadium to go to the flag football Special Olympics games. And I'm going to go stop over at David Kearns. And then I have dinner with Chris and Brandy, our new top donors for Harrison's Playmakers tonight. And tomorrow I got camp all day. I'll fly back to Omaha and head up to Minnesota to finish wedding planning. I get married in 3 weeks. And rehabbing and training real hard for training camp to have another good year. So, I mean, this has been the fastest year of my entire life, and it's crazy. I'm not happy about that. Like, it really did fly by, and there were some really cool peaks and really deep valleys in this last year. But it just flew by, and it happened so fast. It makes me be like, damn, I really am getting older. You know.
Is there any type of advice you would give somebody who could potentially like have been in your situation to where, injury strikes and you don't kind of know what direction you want to go?
I mean, it's the same old cliche as everyone. It's like control what you can control. And, gosh, that story of the Chinese farmer, you heard it with like Chinese farmer and his son have a horse that plows their field. That's all they can do. That's how they get their food. They support themselves. One day the horse runs away. Town comes in and says to the farmer, like, oh, my gosh, this is so bad. He goes, I don't know if this is good or bad. Time will tell. 2 days later, the horse comes back with 50 other horses, and they run right into like the stable. They lock him up. The townmen come in. Oh my gosh, you have all these horses. You're in the horse trade business. You can plow all this land. You're rich, whatever. He says, I don't know if it's good or bad. The farmer's son the next day goes out and tries to break in the horses and tame them, and he gets bucked off and breaks his leg and can't help. And oh my gosh, the town people come in. Man, how terrible is this? Your son can't work. You can't work the field. You guys are going to starve to death. The guy goes, I don't know if it's good or bad. The next day, the Constantine sends the army in. They're recruiting all the firstborn kids to go out and fight in a war, and he can't because his leg's broken. The Tarn people all come in and say, oh, how lucky, your son's hurt, he can't go. All those guys went and died in battle. It's just like everything in life, you really don't know like if it's good or bad. You just have to take it for what it is, and so control what you can to control. And again, I feel like God already has everything in place in my life and everyone else's life, and so I have to remember that every day to myself to try to control what I can control. And I know that at the end of the day, there's a higher purpose, and hopefully I meet my maker and he's proud of who I am.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Harrison, thank you so much for taking the time to fly in on the PJ just for the podcast.
Yeah, the Croom Photos PJ was good.
Yeah. Obviously anybody else wants to hop on the pod, I'll just send it.
Yeah, that might get more higher click rate. If you send in PJs for guys, they might come more.
I'll just put it in the caption, like, Harrison Phillips flies on PJ to do podcast.
Oh, that'd piss off my family. They want to get on a PJ so bad, I'm sure.
Yeah?
Like, you got a PJ to go to Buffalo? You didn't invite us?
You've been on a PJ. Right? You went on a PJ for Pancho's funeral.
Yeah, Pancho's funeral. The Pagulas put me on their plane to get down there. That was really cool.
I remember I was like, yo, I want to go. And you're like, I'll ask.
Yeah. Team's not too hot with you right now, but I can ask.
Yeah. I've actually been on a couple PJs. Micah got one last year. Dion, Poyer.
Jeez, big money. I've never, that's my only one, I think.
It's so expensive. You ever look into it or no?
No.
Do you know how much it is?
Probably 20,000, 30,000.
It's 40, usually 000. Like, well, I mean, I'm sure everybody's different, but like, I in my head, thought I was like, because Lee had a bachelor party in the Keys, and I was like, it'd be cool if we get 10 guys together and we just throw some money on a PJ. He told me it was $12,000 one way. I was like, oh, you could keep the plane. And then they call you every other day to see if you're still interested. Because it's not like one of those things you just go online and you're just like, hey, how much? You're like, okay, cool. It's like, no, you have to inquire about it.
Yeah,
and then they have to reach out to you. So it's just like that. I was just like, listen, dude.
I thought the golden rule was like a $10,000 an hour, right? So if you got to go 2 hours somewhere and 2 hours back, that's like a $40,000 trip.
Just I don't understand how that'd be worth it to anybody, unless they're so worried about, unless they have to be somewhere. That's the only way. But like, unless they're like that afraid to just be around people because they're obviously like a bigger person to where they're like a celebrity in public.
Yeah, I would say too. I'm sure some of these guys cut deals, right? Like I'll post or you can tag me that I'm here, so they probably get it discounted. And you know, I have one teammate. He does it twice a year, and he has 3 children, a wife, and 5 dogs. Yeah. And like, I'm not going to drive, 26 hours across the country back home after the season. So we get a PJ twice a year at the start of the year in the back. And we move every. So you can probably try to make it make sense a couple times a year, but. Yeah, I haven't reached that level of stardom yet. Yeah. So you'll see me middle seat, baby.
Yeah, there you go. Just like
Yep. I'm watching Peaky Blinders right now, so I have my iPad watching Peaky, and we'll be good.
Well, man, thanks for coming, man. I appreciate it. I feel like it was a little overdue, but I also feel like it's full circle. Got you all over my wall.
Yeah.
It's funny. Everybody loves that picture because they think the one of you we're at Stanford.
Oh, yeah.
So everybody thinks, they're like, how did you take this picture? Because in any type of gym, you would think it'd be a mirror. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So everybody's like, how did you take the picture, but you're not in it? Because like it looks
right.
like.
Most dumbbell racks go right to the mirror.
Yeah. So I'm just like, man, I'm just that good.
Every time I see that, what I think of when you made me an old man.
Yeah.
You put some filter on it, made me this old ass man, had me looking like Kyle Williams out there.
That was a dope little trip.
That was really fun.
Remember I almost passed out from drinking distilled water?
Dude. You were cooked.
Yeah.
Cooked. And still got the shots. You still got all the shots.
Yeah. I was like, I'm dying, but we got
to get the content.
I was like, dude, we got just get to Starbucks. I need caffeine.
Yeah.
I don't drink caffeine no more.
Good.
I haven't drank caffeine since February 20th of 2022.
Damn.
Yeah.
Better life? I mean,
I don't fucking know. I mean, you seeing how much I drank Red Bull, let alone vodka Red Bull.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm not a big caffeine guy either. I probably had 10 cups of coffee in my life, but
that's a
game
decaf orange Pico tea for anybody who's gonna.
I can verify. I see it.
Dude, he just drank coffee. What are you talking about? But
yeah,
say it again, man. I appreciate you coming through. We're gonna have fun tomorrow. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait to show Justin how dope these events are. Also, just looking forward to you growing. Can't wait to see your wedding, even though I can't be a part of it.
Yeah.
You should throw like a big ass wedding after.
Yeah, huge reception.
Yeah.
I've talked about it to Shay, except
or do like a housewarming party, or your house is not in like a housewarming party type of space.
No, not that. But Shay's point was like, we're not just gonna. That's just like a Harrison Phillips party, like it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's her wedding day. It's a little probably more important for her than me. And she said so much of our life has been about you and football and charity and all that stuff. Like, I do want a day about me. And so like, if we opened it up and had a 200, 300, 400, 500 person wedding, majority of that would be like my side people. And I want it to be about her. Yeah. So it's really small. It's really
personable.
Really personable. Destination-y, because most people are flying in. I know it's Minnesota, but we were conscious of that, and it'll be good. You'll see some content. We wish you were flicking it up too, because I'm sure you do a hell of a job with it.
I'll show up.
Yeah, just fucking, you never know.
Did you have a contract with them?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of people, how that works is like they don't want anybody else.
Nope. And it's an exclusive stuff too. Like we also they can't use the footage for marketing type stuff because there'll be players there and shit like that. Because we went back and forth on that stuff.
Yeah.
Long story short, appreciate you for having me on, man.
Yeah. Can't wait to see you grow, man. Even though you've grown so damn much, I'm sure you're still drinking chocolate milk with your dinners.
Yeah, but still have only signed 1 gallon of chocolate milk. Remember that?
Yeah, but you also, had the Harry's hot dog arms.
I know they put down the account. I was so sad.
Remember we met him?
Yes.
Yeah, it was funny because that was actually one of the questions. But like as soon as it was asked, I was like, dude, we met him.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, appreciate you, bro.
Yes, sir. So I need you to like, subscribe, and you can share too because we don't talk about that either. But other than that, peace.
I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. Yeah, I hit the ground, then it go off. think it's my year, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think